Good afternoon, beautiful people of the great southern land and beautiful people of the world. Lucas broadcasting live. Thanks for tuning in. Please share if you're watching, give us a comment. Hello Anna. So I've titled this one The 3 I's and the 3 T's, or the 3 T's and the 3 I's. G'day Simon, thanks for tuning in, bro. And I really want to be talking about the 3 T's, which represents the 3 truths that are taking place, and the 3 I's, which are 3 questions to ask ourselves. So this message is really for the truther community and the people to hopefully bring some clarity and direction, so that the people can realign themselves and refocus, and to try and get a clear path of direction moving ahead. Because what we see and what is happening is a whole aggregate of different information being shared, and in what is called this spiritual battle, as with any battle, there is always a there's one focal point, there's one leader that sort of directs the path and goes, this is the way we're going if we want to win, right? This is the plan, and everyone follows that plan, right, to a T, and it gets executed and it's effective and it works. And I've never seen a woman leading a battle, right? And I'm saying that not to be divisive, but because what I see with a lot of, or with some women in the truther movement, not all, truther movement, is that they only want truth that resonates with their bliss. And not all truths are blissful, right? When you're coming out of a dark place, or a deceptive place, some of those truths are going to be confronting. But you've got to feel that, you've got to know that, you've got to see that and feel that in order to heal that for future generations. Otherwise, it's just a spiritual bypass, an emotional bypass, just a bypassing of things that don't feel good. It's just another form of what do they call it when you just emotionally block things out? It's just blocking, right? So I pulled a couple of cards yesterday, and I'm going to start off with the first card I pulled. And I pulled it after the video I shared the other day on the eclipse night, because as always, I really think and feel and listen to the guidance of my environment and the and spirit and the guidance of that. And when I do things that are of a quite a large nature in terms of their ability to bring about great change in the consciousness and the minds, and thus the bodies and the physicality of humanity, when it's going to affect one thing, I always feel that, and there's something in that, But I pulled this card when I was questioning, did I do the right thing, etc., etc. Self-reflection. And I pulled the card, and of course, again, Ma'at, the card of cosmic justice came out. And the second card that came out was the Giza Plateau, Sacred Journey. And the sacred journey that we're on, for those who are watching and able to assimilate the information being shared, this is a sacred journey. The truth of what is being shared is a sacred journey, an initiation into the light, if you will. And the cosmic justice card coming out, and then the Giza Plateau, the cosmic justice of Egypt, right? And we're all in a state of, or 99.99% of people are in a state of Egypt, being the court pharaoh. That is what we spoke about on the eclipse video. That is ruling in the population of the world at this time. So this really is a time of cosmic justice and a sacred journey for all who are witnessing it and absorbing it and learning the truths of it. But just a quick reading of Ma'at. Ma'at is the goddess of truth, justice, rightful action. That means acting in the face of adversity, even if it's sometimes not what we want to do, right? And spiritual accord, being in accordance with truth, right? The masculine and the feminine, okay, being in accordance with truth. Yep. So, I'll just read a little bit more. Ancient Egyptian priests and priestesses sought to live in a state of Ma'at to ensure harmony in this life and the next. Okay? So the fundamental principles of law is to maintain harmony in a community, in a state, in an environment, so all can prosper. Right? That's the principle of law, right? But when it gets corrupted, it gets flipped on its head and used against the majority or against the environment and the harmony thereof. But that's enough of the cards. So what we want to talk about is, oh, actually, just before I do, the three cards that I pulled out this morning was Chaaska, the star of Venus. That's the feminine energy. And then it was Dadiri, hearing truth, opening up, being able to hear the truth, not just claiming to live in truth or your truth, and we're going to get into these truths, but actually being open to hearing truth to move forward. And the third card was Ingonyama, honor of the ancient king, and using the voice to express that truth, being a medium of truth, being a conduit for information and truth to flow through us without bias, without judging that truth based on how it makes us feel and deciding what truth is truth and what is not. That which is truth, that which isn't, okay? So being a clear conduit and using our voice and allowing others to use their voice. And being that conduit, however it may be doing videos and sharing information. It may be sharing videos and sharing information. It may be opening up other platforms, yep, and downloading videos and sharing them out to other platforms, okay? And we're going to talk about the importance of using other platforms, because if it's on Facebook and it's viral, they want you to see it. If it's on YouTube and it's viral, or the channel has hundreds of thousands or millions of followers, they want you to see it. Anything on the mainstream platforms that are, you know, blowing up and going viral and not being removed, they want you to see these things. If the information isn't getting removed from Facebook and YouTube, likely that's something they want you to see, or it just hasn't gained enough views, you know, or attention for them to worry about. So just be discerning, and this is what we're talking about, being discerning in the information and the truths that we are indulging in and disseminating out to the rest of the people. Because, you know, if there is a battle going on, you know, you don't treat the symptoms, right? Like, if your tap water's corrupted, one doesn't simply change the fittings of the tap. You don't change the handle and the tap, right? You don't change those things. You have to find and exploit the source of the corruption of the water. And once you locate the source of the corruption of the water, you fix the corruption. You take away the corruption of the water, and the water will flow pure again. But if all you do is change the fittings, you know, of your taps, you're always going to have the corrupt water flowing through, right? The fittings are symbolic of the symptoms, right? So, you know, harping on about symptoms of the problem, right? I'm going to take this for example, the exposed to 28 that is going around, right? And that's been going for a few years now. Everyone's seen it, right? That's a symptom of a problem, right? That's just that's a symptom of a larger problem. And that larger problem is the deception that they are trying to keep hidden, right? That's the information we're sharing, right? That's the information of the eclipse video. That information is the reason for the 28 names, because that information, right, is what the 28 names were created to suppress. And what I mean by that is they become those 28 names because they get in a position of power where they have to do certain things in order to be controlled by those above them, so they don't release the information that we're sharing, right? So they create those 28 to suppress the corruption of the water being exposed, right? The source of the problem. And what we're doing is we're going to the source of the problem, right? So if everyone can focus on the source of the problem and direct their energy to the source, to the heart of the problem, and figure that out, once that's done, all the symptoms of the problem disappear, right? There may be some remnants of it, some, you know, detoxing from that, but ultimately remove the source of the corruption of the water or the information that keeps keeps flowing through the streams of information through the taps and poisoning and corrupting the organisms that are ingesting them, taking that in, that information, that water, right? We go to the source, we get rid of the corruption, and there's a detoxification period, and then it's back to pure, clean water, pure, clean information, right? And you remove the symptoms and the continuation of the symptoms growing, because you remove the source of the problem. So bringing all the truthers into alignment and opening up the door and showing them the problem, showing them the fundamental, where the problem's stemming from, is how to get rid of all the other symptoms of the problem. So that's it. Like there's a lot of things on YouTube. There's a lot of things, right? You know, you've got and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, and there's all this division about whether it's a flat earth or a round earth, you know. That stuff's come out at this time for a reason. I can tell you from my observation, you know, there's a globe, but there is also a flat earth. It's called the paper plane. That is a flat earth by definition, right? And it's I'll just talk about a couple of the definitions of it. If I can find my easy locator tab, which I can't. It should be in this one. Just a couple of definitions. So, you know, both are correct, I believe. But a firmament, by definition, is a vault of heaven with its clouds and stars. Okay? If we look at the definition of cloud, it's a hill or a building with its top covered, obscurity, a fairy tale. These are definitions of cloud. Right? If you look at the definition of a star, it's a character, your standing, your class, your legal persona, right? So a vault of heaven, and a vault is an enclosed space, right? An enclosed vessel, right? For liquids, for water, for anything, it's a vault. It's something that keeps things locked in, be it the mind, right? Yep, a pyramid, okay? And heaven is a also defined as a place on earth. Right, a state of existence. Okay, so by definition, a firmament, being a vault of heaven, is literally talking about, you know, a state of existence in the mind or in on the earth, and the clouds being a building, a hill. With you can't see the top of it, like the pyramid, right? It's got the separated top. They can't see the top of it because they're in the vault below. They're locked into the vault, right? And a firm, like the firmament, a firm is a company, yeah? It's a class of people. Ment is the mind, or the results, or of the verbal actions of the people that go into the firm, yeah, firmament, the mind, the actions of those people's mind brings them into the firm, which is the pyramid, right? And flat, by definition, story, now rare. Or navigation, ships, compartment, right? Admiralty law. Okay, so that's it. You know, and earth, one of the definitions of earth is a world of grovelling people, of wards, of a state, right? That's your world, earth, synonymous terms. So what I'm saying is that both of these things can be true or are true. You have a paper world, a flat earth, and you have, like the rest of the planets in the solar system, you have spheres, right? Whether you believe that or not, doesn't matter. We don't need to argue about whether the earth is flat or round, right? Because at the current time, it's a moot point. And you have the right to believe whatever you want, as I do. That's the beauty of freedom of religion. And I respect your right to believe whatever you want, as you respect mine. But when there is a contest in play, when you're in the middle of a game, right, with your teammates, you don't sit in the center square of the field and argue about the shape of the earth or the world, right? You play the game and you get the game finished, right? You're in the championship final. You don't sit there arguing on the field about any of this stuff that isn't relevant to the game. You focus on the game, right? And you go, right, there's the goalposts. We've got to get the ball from here to there. That's the only thing we've got to do right now. In this game, in this field, yep, the only thing we've got to focus on is getting the ball of victory through the goalposts of freedom. That's the only thing. All this other information and discussions we can have at the pub later, right? We'll talk about it over a beer or a schooner or whatever. Do you understand what I'm saying? Information that is not pertinent to getting the ball of victory between the goalposts of freedom shouldn't be spoken about at this point in time. It's irrelevant to the game. So people really need to discern, right, what is the problem? Is it the oppression? Is it the slavery? Is it the overbearing so-called powers of the overlords? Is that the problem? Okay, so what's the solution? How do we remedy that? Right? We go, right, well, we got to see what the problem is. We've got to know what the problem is. Yep. So we can understand the solution. We've got to understand where the problem's coming from. Is it the law? Is it the law that's trapping people? Apparently, So how do we get this? Yeah, how do we get the problem to the solution? Get the ball of solution through the goalposts of freedom. We get everyone focused on only on the information that is pertinent and necessary to getting that ball through those goalposts. And then when the game's finished, again, right, when the game's finished, you can go to the pub and you can discuss whether the earth is flat or round or hexagonal or doesn't matter, right? If it's shaped like a duck, whatever. But until that ball has gone through the goalposts, right, that's your one job. Get the ball of victory through the goalposts of freedom. And the only way, that ball of victory is knowledge of how you are being enslaved, how they have this power over you, how and why, how and why, how, what, where, when, how, who, what, where, when, how. And when you understand the knowledge that's in the ball of victory that you're about to kick through the goalposts of freedom, you win the game. And you go and discuss whatever you want, okay? And a dome, right? That's enough of that. So understanding that all political issues, economic issues, moral issues, human rights violations are stemming from a fundamental problem, which is the secrets of the language and ignorance of the secrets of the language. Distractions with the symptoms. Everyone's focused on the symptoms of the problem. They're being distracted by the symptoms. Oh, but they did this and they did. All right, yep. Everyone can see there's a million issues, right, to be discussed at the pub after the game, right? But until you get the ball of victory through the goalposts of freedom, you don't have time to sit there talking about these things that aren't pertinent to the game, right? They're keeping people in that state and doing these things on purpose. Understand that, right? The division these things cause, right? The wasted energy. It seems that the collective needs to take on a very masculine kind of energy, right? That's the energy that's been lost. And there's too much feminine, oh, it's all right, it's all love and beautiful and light and, oh, it's okay, just smell the roses, right? There's too much of that. There's not enough, hey, look, masculine energy, there's a problem, right? I can see the problem, okay? And I'm going to get to that problem and fix it, right? That's the masculine, right? It sees the problem and it goes, right, what information, what do I need to do to fix that problem? Yep. We've spoken about it until the cows come home. People have lost their voice because they're complaining so much, right? Everyone hears it, everyone sees it, everyone's tired of it. Everyone wants the solution. The solution is the ball of victory that must be picked up by all and kicked through the goalposts of freedom. It is the information I shared with you in the video that is pinned to the top of my profile. It is the information you need to understand how, right? How it's happening, how they have this authority over you. Once you understand how, you can reverse. correct that spell, reverse it and send it back, right? So, you know, your alien invasion, right? You've got this thing coming up, dividing people. Your alien invasion is a transfer of ownership. It's alienation of your private rights, be it of your body, of your property, of your children, right? It's the alienation of you. It's the transference of ownership by definition. This is an alien invasion by definition. Transfer of ownership from you to a foreigner. That's simple. Problem, yeah? Solution. Learn how they're doing it, which is the information I gave you the other night, and reverse it. Yep, send it back to them. Problem, solution. Yep. So you've got the 3 I's to ask yourselves. Or should we talk about the 3 truths first? 3 truths first, right? There's useful, solution-based truths, or truth. It is a universal truth. It applies to everybody in that system or out of it. A universal truth. But if you're in the system, it certainly is a truth that applies to you. Doesn't matter what your beliefs are. Okay? Useful solution truths. Right? Those are, okay, we all know there's a problem. There's a million symptoms that everyone's talking about. What's the solution? The universal truth. The universal solution. The solution is to understand the problem, right? The foundation of it, where it's coming from, and to remedy it, to fix that, right? That's it. Simple, basic stuff. Not confusing. The second truth. Designed divisive truth. Right? These are speculative truths, not proven either way, based on perceptions of facts, i.e. the flat earth. A really big one. Okay? Whatever your belief is either way. That is a designed divisive truth. Okay? Because it's speculative, based on multitude of different facts supporting both arguments. Both arguments have truths and facts that appear to be supporting them, but it can't be proved either way by the common person, right? That's a divisive truth, designed that way. That's a very intelligent divisive truth. It's something that cannot be proven either way by the common people arguing about it. Both sides supported by fact. But in the big scheme of things, when it comes to the useful solution truth, it's irrelevant. Put it in the shelf until after the game. Any information that is not useful solution truth, put it on the shelf until after the game. And then there's inert, trivial truths. Right? Not diminishing from the value of the individual, but there is inert, trivial truths. My truth. Your truth. My feeling truth. How I feel about that's true. Yeah, it's true how you feel about that. But in the big scheme of things, in the universal solution truth, your feelings about that are irrelevant. So the inert, trivial truths, my truth, your truth, belief-based truth, religion, emotional-based biases. That's got to be put underneath, right? The universal truth of solution. Until that universal truth of solution, until that ball of victory, that is the universal truth of solution, until that ball is kicked through the goalposts, all of those other truths need to be put to the sides, and they can be talked about after the game. Stop kicking goals for the other team. Stop picking up the ball of victory and kicking it back to the other side. And then finally, right? The 3 I's to ask oneself as the 3 I's of independent investigation at this time. This is what people need to be asking themselves. Is it viral on the platforms? Because if it is, it's probably it's put there for a reason. It's put in front of you for a reason. They've allowed it to be there. Because as we know, I know, if I put a video up that really goes to the heart of what they're doing, like the one I did on the lighting up of the DNA the other day, you can look a few videos back on my profile, that was gone within a day. That's gone. Anything that they don't, anything of value, they move it very quickly. Right? 2, is it creating division? So is it viral on their platforms? Number 2, is it creating division? If it is, put it on the shelf. Not yours. Right? Is it providing solutions? If it is, grab onto that. Like real life, practical solutions that people can do. Not, oh, just imagine it and it will be. No, you've got to imagine it, right? Then you've got to put it into action. Okay? Practical solutions. Yep. Is it a solution? And is it practical? If it's not, put it on the shelf. Does it resonate as truth? Do you feel it when someone says it and speaks it to you? Or does it have you questioning and confused? If it has you confused and questioning and, oh, I'm not sure about this and I'm not sure about that. If it doesn't resonate as truth as it's coming through, well, it's probably not. Because it's the devil who likes to confuse. Keep the mind always in a state of confusion, always leaking energy out here and out there, and you've got a million things coming in. Now, come back into the masculine energy and be focused and direct in your objective. All right? Please share this video. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing, Simon. Hello, Heidi. All right, 3 truths. Let's round it up. Is it useful, solution-based truth? Is it a universal truth that solves the problem for everybody? Is it design divisive truth? Is it being speculative truth, not proven either way based on perceptions of facts? Meaning something that can be proved or be shown to, perceived to be proved either way, right? If it's that, put it on the shelf. Okay, inert, trivial truths, my truth, your truth, my feelings and beliefs about this and that, right? Religion, emotion-based truths. Yeah, true, but not contributing to the universal solution, right? It's a very egoic, individualistic, self-absorbed kind of truth. My truth and my bliss, right? And the 3 I's for this time: is it viral on the platforms? If it is, why? You know, Facebook and YouTube, we know they're highly censored, right? Is it creating division? If it's creating division, well, it's achieving their objective. And is it providing solutions? Practical, real-life solutions with explanations of how the problem is done and the solution to that. Okay? That's about it. I'm going to keep it as short as possible. So thank you guys for sharing. Thank you for watching. If you haven't shared it, please share it. It's really important that people come to these comprehensions of the intelligence of the design that is keeping people divided and distracted. It's imperative people understand this. It's imperative for people, if they believe they're in this, you know, battle or game or whatever, if they're contesting for something, if they want to win something, if they're trying to achieve something, they're in a contest, right? It's imperative that people focus on that ball of solution, right? That ball of victory, which is filled with the universal truth of solution, and everyone gets a hand on that ball and kicks it through the goalposts of victory. Many blessings and much love.